Hello, I am at home now and I am currently in my 4th week of the Thrive programme and I think it's going really well, and I still have days where I feel anxious and I'll have thoughts about pro-metaphobic thoughts about things, but I'm much better at controlling it and I'm much better at overcoming it a lot quicker. And I find it quite hard when I am feeling anxious to be positive about the programme, but I know that I've just got to keep going at it. So that's what I'm doing. But today, this video is my 3-week update. So I'm going to talk about all the things I read and all the actions I did in my 3rd week. So let's get into it. So one of the first chapters that I read in my 3rd week of the Thrive programme was the Mind Your Language chapter. This is all about making sure that the way you speak out loud and the way you speak in your head is in an internal way. So you're not speaking as if things are happening to you, you're making sure and keeping reminding yourself that you're doing it to yourself, you are in control. So that's what this chapter is about mainly. And about how you sort of set yourself up to believe things. So by saying, that's not my thing, it's never been my thing, I hate that, I don't like it. Instead saying things more like, well, I didn't like that the last time I did it, but I guess I could give it another try because there's always a chance that I might like it this time. And then you just stop limiting your beliefs. Things like that. And I found that really useful. And every time I talk about anxiety and I talk about how this is going to my friends or family, I always make sure I say, I've been making myself feel anxious, I've been stressing myself out, I've been making myself feel sick. Not that the anxiety has been making me anxious, the anxiety is making me feel sick. It's all about what you're creating yourself. Right, mind your language, and then anxiety and stress. So in this chapter, this is chapter 10 of 14. So in this chapter, the book talks about what anxiety is, how anxiety occurs, the stages of anxiety, and how stress happens and the effects that stress has on your body that could lead you to get into this cycle of anxiousness and stress and anxiousness and stress and stress and anxiousness, and how they impact on each other. And I think this is a really good chapter in that it allows you to understand your anxiety and it allows you to understand how it comes about. And I feel like the main benefit of this book is that you understand how your mind is working and understand what is happening. I think that's been one of the biggest benefits for me, because as I've learned from this book, I like to be in control, I like to understand, I like to brood, to make sense of things. And this book has just allowed me to cut out the brooding bit and to just know what I'm doing and cut it out immediately, which I think is really, really helpful. And I would say at this point, this helps a number of psychological disorders. Even if you only feel like you have minor symptoms of them, I suggest reading this book just to understand how your mind works. Even if you don't suffer to the extent that other people do, and don't feel like you need to do all of the exercises and all of the actions to really be living your life. If you can live your life anyway, but the way you're thinking occasionally gets you down, and you don't feel like you need to go through the whole program, just read the book to understand how your mind works, because it is so, one, interesting, and two, just helps you make so much more sense of when you are having negative thoughts or when you are feeling down or when you are feeling anxious. It just allows you to understand it so much better and allows you to overcome it so much easier. So going through this process, I'm obviously trying to overcome my phobia. But in doing that, and that's going to be the hardest bit, is actually overcoming my phobia, I have improved my life in so many other ways, in terms of being more chilled out, being happier every day, being less stressed about little things because I know that I'm creating it myself, and things like that. So that's another thing I'd say at this point is regardless of the degree to which your unhelpful thinking is affecting your life, read the book, because even if you just read it every now and again, or even just flicking to a chapter that you want to understand more about in this case, it might help you even a teeny bit. Obviously, if your life is being massively affected by your unhelpful thinking, do the program, because that's even better. But what I'm saying is, if you don't feel like your life is being taken over by it, even just understanding it can help. Chapter 11 is called Belief Systems in More Detail. This is a really interesting chapter because this talks about how an unhelpful thought can lead to brooding, can lead to a panic attack, can lead to you feeling bad about it. And it tells you how to intercept at each stage of the cycle of unhelpful thinking. So in order to stop this cycle of behaviour, you have to feel more powerful, feel more in control, and know that you can step in at any point and just cut it off. And I think that is something that I'm definitely getting much better at. Like, if I get a twinge in my stomach, instead of saying, oh, that's it, I'm going to have a pain in my stomach all day now, I'm going to be ill, I wonder what it's from, it could be this, and brooding about it, I say, oh, I have a pain in my stomach. That was it. Oh, I don't care what it could be from, because it was there and now it's gone, and then that's it. And I will worry about it if it happens again then, and not drag out my whole day thinking about this one pain in my stomach. And if you have emetophobia, you'll know that that is something that we do. Because I haven't been progressing through the chapters as quickly as I was initially, because I wanted to take time to absorb each chapter and to practice the actions of each chapter before moving on and getting more for myself. So that's why I haven't really read that many chapters, but these were quite long ones as well. So yes, that is my update for week 3. So now it is the Wednesday of week 4. But at the end of week 3, I just felt like I understood myself a lot more again, on top of already all the things that I learned about myself. I went to a nightclub that I told myself I hated, and I went to once last year, told myself I hated it, missed all the nights out with all my flatmates and all my friends because I told myself I didn't like it there and didn't want to go because I hated it. I went there last Wednesday and I absolutely loved it because I was in a positive mindset and I told myself, this is what you make it, and it was great. So I think that's been the big learning curve of the week, as well as eating whatever I want in restaurants. I did that this weekend. We had tapas, and I love tapas. I love tapas when other people make it for me or whatever, but in restaurants I've always been a bit skeptical. But this weekend I had chorizo, we had calamari, we had these potato things with loads of sauce on, and sometimes I'm a bit skeptical about lots of sauce, but it was really good. I think I've had a really positive week, really good weekend. And I will see you next week with my week 4 update, and that's when it will be a month. So see you then.